you are in our time zone, you're very welcome back to This Is Knit. We are doing our Thursday lunchtime lives now, where we are getting together, answering some of your questions that you've submitted ahead of time, and if we do have time, we'll answer more of your questions live. So thank you for joining us. It's cold today in Dublin, but sunny, so we will accept that and take what we can get. Lovely to see everybody joining us. How are you doing? How am I? I don't know. I'm sort of spiraling a little bit here. We're sort of looking ahead towards reopening on the 17th. Well, actually, we can reopen from the 17th of May, but we're going to be operating reduced opening hours for the first little while until we find our feet again, and the balance between obviously doing an online operation and in-person operations. So I know you probably have a couple of questions about that, but bear with us. We will be making announcements on that front in the coming days. We are very excited to obviously invite you back into the shop and to share all of the beautiful colours and textures with you again in person. But we will be continuing to do our online content as well, because we know that people are joining us from all over the world. So it's great to have you. Okay, we have a couple of questions that I will dive into straight away, and start showing you some pretty yarn, because we got some restock of Olann Sock Lite that just landed in with us yesterday, I think, and we were taking some fresh photos for the website today. So I've got some new shades to us that I want to show you, but I think what I'll do is start with some customer questions and then get back into what's new. Okay. So we have a question today submitted by Monica, who's Comera Girl. If you're on live, lovely to see you here. She is planning on making a striped cardigan, sort of inspired by the Andrea Mowry striped sweater, and she wants to do it in Studio Donegal Darney. So her question was that she'd picked three colours, the emerald, teal and navy, but wanted a fourth colour to go with them. Have we any suggestions? And she'd love to keep it into a sort of seaside scheme. So I've got to pull out the ones that I thought would fit the bill on that front. Miriam Bradley, you're quarantining in Wexford and you're delighted to be back home in Ireland. It's great to see you. Welcome home. Okay, so I will jump into my darnie, and I'm going to turn you around so you can see the colours properly, and hopefully the light will be good there. Let's see, turn me around here. Oops, there are lots of questions today. Okay, so navy, emerald and teal was our starting point for this beautiful striped sweater. That is going to be absolutely gorgeous. Or striped cardigan. I'm dying to see how that would turn out, actually, Monica. And for a fourth colour, we have, I'm sure you've seen these options on the website, but it's much nicer to see them all lined up side by side to see what works. So this here is the baby blue shade, and that is shade 8815. So that would obviously work really nicely with that selection. You could go very classic and go with cream. That would really set everything else off. Or a slightly more muted kind of bluey grey, which is this guy here, which is 8810 as your colour options there. So I'll try and squeeze a few more into the frame here so you can see. Whoops, she says. Knock the plant over, why not? So they're your original three that you've chosen. And you could go with this guy here, or this one here. I think that, and sorry if you can hear all of the works that are going on behind me in the centre here. They are installing a new stairs and it's been going on for a while. I think that if you're going for the nautical, yes, Caroline here is just saying go with the cream. Definitely that sort of Breton stripes things. I think the white or the cream in with that will will really bring it all together. So we have two votes anyway between the comments from Caroline Martin and myself saying cream should be your winner. Okay, so nice options. This is absolutely gorgeous yarn. It's a 4-ply lamb's wool tweed from Studio Donegal. It goes a million miles. It has 410 meters, I think, in it. Yeah, 410 meters per skein. So you'll get a gorgeous striped sweater out of, or striped cardigan out of that. Right. Okay. So next up we had an inquiry by email. Actually, I didn't write down the name, but somebody was looking for suggestions for the Roaring Tides shawl, which is this guy here from lovely designer Tiff Nealon. It's a DK weight shawl using a speckled and a semi-solid yarn. So I decided to run around and bring a few options together. I think it's 2 colours. Actually, looking at it now, it might be 3, but we could go for a starting point. I did like the look of these guys together. That's kind of inspired by the original colour theme. So there was Irish Artisan Tweed, the Irish Artisan Yarn, DK Tweed. So we have another late vote for the cream and the Darney blend there. So this is Skerries. I think a tweed would really, really look nice in this textured stitches here. So, and you could pair that with Drury Decay in Iha. For the overseas viewers, Iha is the Irish word for night, and Skerries is a town in Dublin, a lovely seaside town, not too far from us. So they would be really beautiful together, and a slightly pinker theme, a pinky purpley theme. You could go a little bit more springy with the Donegal shade of DK Tweed from Irish Artisan Yarn, and this guy here from Townhouse Yarns, Drury DK in Cupcake. They'd be a nice combo too. So that's just 2 options, just to throw them into the mix and see what you think. It's a lovely shawl. I'm quite a fan of DK weight shawls, and I think they're going to be something that we will wear an awful lot over the course of the next few weeks and months when we are all hanging out outside together. It's the Roaring Tides shawl, and the designer is Tiff Nealon. So she's got a couple of DK weight shawls too, so they're definitely worth checking out. And they are your options. So I hope that helps. And thank you for your question. More. Okay, Jacqueline. So this is again where we enhance your online shopping experience. Jacqueline Allen was looking at this colour in Malabrigo Sock, and it is colour Martes, or Marte, which I believe is March. And it has lots of lovely golds, cream, golds and bronzes and reds and rusts in here. And you're wondering what would look nice with that in the Malabrigo Sock range. So I have a few options for you, because this is quite versatile. Okay, it is a nice shade, isn't it? So if you're going to stick with your sort of rusty autumnal tones, then you could pop Piedras in with it. Hi, Jacqueline. She's saying hello in the comments. So it depends, obviously, as in anything, on what you want to make. But Piedras would be really nice with that. Very, very autumnal. Now, there are little hints of kind of tealy green in here. I did spot them. They're hiding. So believe it or not, I think that would set that off absolutely beautifully. And that is Teal Feather. Could go with that. Again, I'll bring them back in a second. Back to the sort of autumnal, just to tone. In fact, those together would be amazing. And this one is Tiziano, isn't it? Tiziano Red in Malabrigo Sock. So that would work really beautifully. Oh, they've stopped drilling. I really hope it stays that way. And then you could throw in this really, really beautiful, rich purple. So Sabiduria. Heliana has said, what about adding a burgundy? Yes, we went there. Actually, it's a sort of more of a rusty red, but yes, a burgundy would be amazing. I don't think... Oh, hang on. Do I? Oh, it's the same. It's actually... It looked more burgundy, but this is Tiziano Red as well. Might be just slightly richer dye lot. Checking behind beyond the shelves. And the purple. And then lastly, so the Sabiduria. Yay, purple. We have a lot of jewel tone fans here. Côte d'Azur is another one here. Okay, so Côte d'Azur, Sabiduria, Tiziano Red, and the teal has just gone for a dive off the side of the the counter here. So I will bring back the teal, which is Teal Feather, and you can have a look. Now, I don't know, actually, Gwen is asking in the comments if there was a pattern idea for these Malabrigos. So actually the question that Jacqueline submitted was just what would go with this colour. So I think some people do start with, they start with the yarn and the pattern follows. So I know I do that sometimes too. It's like, I just want to make something with this. But Jackie might answer in the comments as to whether she had a particular pattern in mind. But definitely in terms of fade arrangements, that would be absolutely amazing in terms of setting it off and really letting this like rusty orange shine. The teal is absolutely beautiful. Jackie doesn't have a plan. She's just thinking. We like that. Just letting the colours inspire you and see how you go from there. Okay. So that is Marte's loads of lovely combinations possible in Malabrigo Sock at the moment. Let's pop that out of the way. Happy days. Right. Okay, Trish Killalay was in touch and she's been making Anchors t-shirts, more than one. And she wanted to, or she's considering making a Find Your Fade shawl to go over one that was made in this shade here. I know there's quite a few of you doing Anchors t-shirts at the moment in this gorgeous yarn. So the request was to find a fade that was in Townhouse Yarns Tara 4-ply in the Lady Townhouse colour. And we built this little 5-skein fade around that, going from this shade to this shade. So it's a more of a bluey greeny tone rather than specifically green like this. If we have, and we probably do have some ochre coming in, that would build nicely out of Lady Townhouse and they could move into another green if you wanted to go with that. But for the moment, the in-stock options are a Tara 4-ply in Myrtle. Moving on to Utopia. That was our yarn tasting colour there last week for any of you who were with us. That was good fun. Then Lady Townhouse, fabuloso. Guinan, that is a nod to our Star Trek The Next Generation misspent teenage youth, myself and Jenny watching that, and Tara 4-ply in Cloak. So that is a really, it's nice to have a contrast to the green, isn't it? Yes, that's what Grace is saying, that it is. It works well over that green. And it is amazingly soft and really, really beautiful to work with. So Myrtle, Utopia, Lady Townhouse, Guinan and Cloak is the lovely 5-skein fade there. Okay. So, thank you again for your questions. It's really nice for us all to get together and to see a few different options and to be inspired by what other people are making as well. And it does cover all of the bases, I have to say, because we have a request is here for a purple for a canvassing hat, because Una is out there somewhere, possibly watching back later on. And Una is a member of the Social Democrats in Dublin and she's going out canvassing for them. So she wants to wear a very on brand, and fair play to you, Una, good woman. She wants to wear a Social Democrats purple hat on her canvassing journeys. So these are the colours that I pulled that I thought were most in tune with that. And I will run through the numbers here. So you have your Donegal Wool Spinning Company, lovely DK to worsted weight tweed, and that is colour number 3027. Trying to read it through my screen, whereas I should just look at that. S. Moore is saying, yay, there's a Trekkie fan out there. Yes, more than one of us. We're a whole family of them, but only the old stuff. Anyway, Darnie, you could hold this doubled because I thought this colour was absolutely super purple. And you could get a hat going a little quicker with that. So that's shade 8806. And this lovely bite, almost UV purple from BC Yarn. It's Hamilton number 1 is the name of the yarn, but the shade number is colour 106. Squishy, squishy. Another one that was in yarn tasting, and I think a lot of people loved the feel of that too. So hopefully one of those options will float your boat for your canvassing hat and stay warm on the tracks. Okay. I'm going to come back. So I had another question, but we also had one from Christina herself. Which is the least itchy? Sorry, here. So Una is here. Hi, Una. The Hamilton definitely would be the least itchy. It is super soft and beautifully squishy wool, and would definitely recommend that. So it is a non-super wash, hand wash, but it's not in any way hairy or kind of irritating in any way at all. So this is absolutely beautiful, and I would go for it. And it would knit up fast too, because you're working on probably 5mm needles with that. Yeah, 5mm, lovely. Perfect Aran weight, 18 stitches to 4 inches. Cool. See, sometimes we get essays worth of questions. I'm just going to go summarize this one. Thank you, Christina, though. It's great to hear from you. Christina is looking to make a Sunday sweater. We've had a few options put up for this before, and you want to use Snuff Nook, which is great. And the two colours that you had in mind, we'll show you them side by side so you can compare, are the Ascra and Lys Beige shade. And you were wondering about which fluff to hold with it. Okay, so I can see a few more questions are coming up. So after I've covered the pre-submitted ones, I will try and scroll back and see if I can get to the other ones as well. Thank you though, do keep asking because we should have a bit of time for me to come back to you. So the really nice thing about the Camo Rose range is some of the colours have the exact same name on them in your fluff. So super matchy, the Lys Beige in Midnight Sol is the fluff there, which is the Baby Alpaca, Tencel and Merino wool fluff. So super perfect match to go with that for your Sunday sweater. And then there is the, as well, Ask Gras shade to go with that Snuffle as well. Hang on now. Bring it up a little bit closer, you can see. I mean, they're not exact matches because they're complete, like different fibre contents and stuff, but that would blend really nicely with that yarn. And then as a small wild card, not really super wild, there's also the Manastrale, which has the sparkle in it. And so you could put a little subtle sparkle into the mix if you wanted to do that one. And that colour, again, sorry, the label is a teeny bit squished, but it's the Ascra. So we're kind of sticking, we're in a safety zone here of matching those exact shades for you. But sometimes for a classic design like that, stay put. You want it all to match in nicely. So Christina herself will tag you in the comments as well after this, just in case you're not here, so that you can look back. But hopefully seeing them all side by side like that will help. And that for everybody else is the Sunday sweater by Petite Knit, and the pattern is available on Ravelry. Oh, hang on. I've just noticed there was one more additional. We wanted to go a little bit darker, and this is in Manastrale. You could go for just the gras colour there. Mixed in with that if you liked a slightly smokier finish. That could be an option. All right. Oh, there you are, Christina. Great, you're super welcome. Delighted that works out. And how's the volume? How is is all of that terrible drilling that is in my ear in your ears too? I really hope not. Because it is distracting, I have to say. Okay. Now, back to Una. Una was wondering about options as well for the peanut sweater, or little vest, Peanut by Tin Can Knits. So sweet. The little vests that Tin Can Knits do, they have a couple of them and they are absolutely adorable. It is for a DK weight yarn, but we have seen a lot of people do these in Malabrigo Rios, actually. So I wanted to show you some options for those guys. Now, I know Una has girls, and we don't want to be really gender specific or anything like that, but there are these two here, this lovely smoky grey purple, as an option. You might be knitting for somebody else as well. Joy says, oh good, you can hear us over the background noise, thank goodness. This is Pearl 10 in Malabrigo Rios. And this is, oh, you're full of questions today. I'll have to scroll a bit. This is Valentina in Rios as well. Okay, so they super sweet and nice next to each other as a contrast for these guys. Looking for a boy? Grand, no problem. I've got you covered, Una, no problem. Although the boy can wear the pink if the boy wants. Right. These guys here, because it's very inspired by the original one. So you have got Frank Ochre and Teal Feather. They are amazing together. Let me just twist them. I will tidy these up afterwards, I promise. Mum and Maureen are probably watching going, it's that one. And then we also, there's a colour called Ankara Green. That is amazing. And it goes really nice for a lovely aqua themed Ankara Green. Mixing that in with Aguas. There you go. So that is for the peanut sweater by peanut vest by Tin Can Knits. You could make it a sweater. You could add some sleeves. Why not? And I just think any of those combinations would be super, super lovely. Okay, bear with me as I do a bit of scrolling back, because I might try and catch some questions now before I lose them later on. So if you have pre-submitted a question, don't worry. We're going to get those as well. I have a plan, just thinking. Is Malabrigo a soft yarn? Malabrigo is absolutely super soft, Chrissy. It's the Rios and the sock yarn that we were talking about earlier on are both 100% superwash merino. So they have this like glossy kind of feel. There's no scratchiness at all to them. When using a superwash yarn, though, you do have to bear in mind that it might stretch out a little bit after you have washed it initially. So be sure to wash your swatch and measure it again after that, and just allow for that bit of growth that can happen. Amazingly soft, beautiful, thank you. Okay. Grace hasn't seen the BC yarn yet before. It looks incredible. It is super beautiful. Gwen, I saw a baby jumper in your recent email. Could you show us the yarn used for the baby cardigan pattern, please? Was that yesterday's email where we referred to the Norwegian fur cardigan? Okay, so that is, actually it could be here because it's due to go off. We're sending it to San Francisco today with a few other bits and pieces. Morning Salutation is the yarn that we've used, or that I say we, Jackie, I'm inheriting her patterns here, but that's the one that she used for the Norwegian fur cardigan. I know of people who have also used Drury DK for that, or any of our lovely double knit yarns. But for a sort of more summery version, and there's a reason I have these two colours here, they're not necessarily baby colours, but somebody was asking to see them, Jem Bear Dublin was asking to see them next to each other, so I wanted to give her that option. But that is the yarn that we used, and it is a cotton and tencel blend, so but really nice to use, lovely stitch definition, and not splitty at all on the needles either, so give it a closer look there. And then Chrissy was asking, can the Winterfell cardigan be done as a fade? And if so, what colours? It definitely can. Could see absolutely no reason why not. The Winterfell cardigan over here. Sorry. Winterfell. This guy here. I'll hold it up actually once we change the camera around in a little while. And it could definitely be done in the fade colours. World is your oyster. We actually have recently restocked the pool bag. I think that's gone up on the restock shades have gone up recently onto the website on that. So we knit that in Townhouse Yarns pool bag sport, and if we have time at the end, remind me and I'll see if I can put together some fades for you for that. I'd probably just use no more than maybe 3 colours, but see how you get on with that. Any suggestions for a pattern for Townhouse Yarns you just purchased in Newton Ards? Very good. So we've a new stockist of Townhouse Yarns and Jolly Yarn Company up in Newton Ards, so hello to you up north. And Kigo was saying that she's looking for suggestions for patterns. Could you tell me whether you purchased the Fade Street 4-ply or the Camden Tweed, and how much you bought as well? And then we can come up with some ideas. Maybe in the comments some people can come up with ideas too. Caroline is wondering, do we have any summer variegated cotton mix linen for a summer top? Yes, I have a lino. Throw you a few colours here. So this is a 50-50 linen and cotton blend from BC Yarn as well, and it's called Alino. Or 50-50, and it's a double knit yarn, and absolutely gorgeous. We've got that's just 3 of the colours, but there's a lot more there. There's navies and creams and all sorts too, so that's one that I would definitely recommend for your summer tops. And we were referring to a pattern called chicane as in like a bend in the road by Jimmy Knits when we were talking about this yarn at the yarn tasting there last week. So Caroline, hopefully that fits the bill. Now Jane, I'm scrolling back through the comments, Jane ST23, and you said what colour is on the left, but I'm not sure at what point which yarn I was showing at the time. If it was the greys, then it is, this one is colour 16 and this one is colour 15. So I think it's light grey and steel is how they're listed on the website. Which grey do people prefer for an adult cardigan? Okay, so this is Jen Bear's question. So let's see. So do we prefer, yes, 16, you'll have to type, or 15 or 16. If you can type in the comments which one you would prefer for a cardigan for an adult, then let us know, and Jen will collate the votes there and see where you go. Gwen says she's not a huge fan of grey. That's okay, no problem. There's loads of really nice shades in the carpet and jewel tones, as you say it. I'm just going to grab them because they're on the shelf beside me. And when you say jewel tones, we've got you covered. So there's all of these guys here, and even more than that, because some of it is in the stock room too. Now the voting is happening. 15 is the lighter colour, and 16 is the darker. Caroline is saying perfect is a soft. It really is, yeah. And Kigo, Fade Street 4-ply 3 skeins for a getting better beginner. Ooh, are they all the same colour, Kigo, is the next question. So let's find that out. You could absolutely knit one of the faded sweaters if there were different colours, if they might work in together. Andrea Mary has 4-ply fade sweater designs, and there's a few other ones actually. Depends on sizing. Actually, you might need a 4th skein depending on size, but I found this one as well. It's a Feel Happy sweater, which you could throw together in your Fade Street in 4-ply if there were different colours that you think might work with that. And that pattern's available on Ravelry. Okay, we're jumping around a little bit. Loads of 15, 16, 16s I'm seeing. Ooh, the lighter one wins, Jen says. She loves choosing yarns by committee. Fantastic. Now, and 3 different shades. You could also do a shawl. Now, I'm gonna turn this to the committee. So a getting better beginner, 3 skeins of Fade Street 4-ply in 3 different colours. What shawls patterns would you recommend for Kigo to work with in Fade Street? Loads of choices. There is a design called Feile, Feile, that uses 2 skeins, and that is a simple shawl. And then you could do something different with the last one. And I'll see. Give me 1 second. So just to give you an idea, it's just simple stripes worked in this shape here, and that's 2 skeins of Fade Street across that. So it's Feile. If you put that into Ravelry, then this shawl will come up, and it is very straightforward and easy, and it can mix a speckled and a semi-solid in that. So that is one idea. It's always good to see any of the Andrea Mowry. Oh, and Mama Likes to Make. That's Aisling says she loves Isabel Kramer's Paris Toujours. So I'm sure we will have a few more suggestions coming up in the comments. So grab a pen and paper and scribble them down. You will not be lacking in ideas, I don't think, by the end of this. Okay. So, Peanut, I think we better turn you around. Oh, yeah. Oh, stop. I'm going to stop reading them because there's so many ideas. Okay. Let's do this. Hello again. Hi. Oops. Now, what do we want to talk about other than that? The Clapotis knit along. We'll be back to you on that. Jennifer is asking about that. That's Jennifer Sumi. Stay tuned. It's going to happen. And Gwen said that you made the snap hat from the 4-ply yarn tasting kit, and it was so fun and fab to make. It's definitely good for a beginner or good for if you just want to have a chill out knit and use it, because we've all got those gorgeous bits of leftover 4-plies from different patterns and shawls and designs that we've worked on. And I thought it was really fun to make, I have to say, and really fun to play in your stash and kind of pull out the bits and pieces and mix things in. And then you have this project that reminds you of all your other projects that you've done, which is really good too. Okay, I think we're caught up on questions there. Looking for recommendations. You've got your Social Democrats purples. And Tiernan was saying, can you use 1 strand of fingering weight yarn with 1 strand of lace yarn to make a sport weight yarn? Yes, you can. This whole mixing of different strands of yarns together is a situation where you can customize and create your own weights out of the different pieces that you have available. But swatching is absolutely key in that. Okay, you've definitely got to take it out and make sure that you are doing it. I can't tell you, yes, 100% you're going to get a sport weight tension unless you check your tension. So you've got to get your needle size right. You've got to measure it for the pattern that you have in mind. But I would say, yes, knitting a 4-ply and lace weight together should get you approximately sport weight, but you have to check. I'm sorry. So that's grand. And Azuki was saying that she thinks weaving in ends is the worst, and have we any tips? Yes, a few. So if you really, really, really hate weaving in ends, and if you are using a primarily fleece-based fibre, then a super trick that I love is to do what they call the spit splice. Now, you don't have to use your spit, especially not in all of the current circumstances, but a little bit of water will do the trick. And what you're going to do is actually deliberately felt your ends together. Okay, so that sounds strange, but you would take your, should have gotten a little strip of yarn to show you. When you come up to the point where you're nearly out of one ball or one skein of yarn, leave a few inches left, untwist it a little bit so that you can see the different plies, or just kind of thin it a little bit, and snip about a third. So I would go 1.5 inches kind of down into that last bit of your strand, snip about a third of the fibres off. And then do the same on your new ball of yarn, and with them sort of frayed out, wet them and overlap them, okay? And then smack the two of them between your hands and rub like this. And you need to do it for like a minute or two. You really need to kind of give it a good bit of heat and friction. So in order to get something to felt together, the reason why you don't throw your sweater in the washing machine is because you've got that trinity of heat, friction and moisture, and those three things together are going to leave you with a felted piece. In this case, we want it. We want the moisture, the friction and the heat. And if you're wearing a pair of jeans or cotton trousers, something like that, you can take that after you've rubbed it together and kind of gotten a little bit fixed, rub it onto your trouser leg. Let's pretend that's that. And you will get, I've done this in like in-person classes as well, where you kind of take it back up and go, you ready? And like, it won't pull apart. It is good and strong. So, but you will need to be using a yarn that is like, I would say 60% fleece, if not higher. If it's 100% wool, you're golden. So that's the tip for avoiding weaving ends altogether. Then my other tip on a practical level, say if you're using cotton or something, you just can't do that, is to just do it like as you come across them. Like, don't leave them all to the end, because I think the biggest reason why you find it annoying is because you've got to do so many of them all in one go. So when you finish, like when you've got about 3 or 4 sections of weaving in to do, just take a little break, do it then, and you'll thank yourself later. And someone said you can use a felting needle if you have one handy. If you do any needle felting, that would work. And apparently that's called, Gwen says apparently it's called the Russian method, and that saliva has some natural somethings in it that helps the process. Interesting, but ooh. I agree, interesting, but ooh. It probably does, but it's not, even if it does, it's not necessary. You can do it just with a little bit of water. And of course, when we're demonstrating for classes, we would do it with just a little bit of water. So that is, and the Yarn Bull says that's her joint of choice. So yeah, it has a lot of support among yarn shop owners as well. So you can do that. One thing I did on my snap hat recently is a thing called the Clasped Weft join. Because in the snap hat you are knitting with 4 strands of 4-ply, and then every couple of rows you change out just one of them. So I figured it does leave you with a double strand of your yarns for a couple of stitches either side, but in that it wasn't going to add that much extra bulk, or wasn't going to be that obvious that I had done it. So it was a great option for a scrappy project like that, and I've seen people really be quite enthusiastic about it for making scrappy socks as well. So there are tutorials out there for a thing called the clasped weft join. And when I spoke to Aisling about this earlier, she said there's the weaving Stephen method. So Stephen West, I'm quite sure, probably has a tutorial on YouTube about, it's kind of catching the yarn ends behind your project as you go, and possibly more suitable to shawls than for sweaters. You might just have to stick with the, if you're not doing the spit splice or Russian method, then you might just have to go back to your darning needle. If you can get a darning needle actually that has the little bend in the tips, they actually make the job a lot easier too, because it's a tiny thing, but like it's the engineering in it is really nice. The way it just helps you get in underneath your stitches, and that tiny bit quicker. But over the course of a whole sweater worth of joins, then it can make the difference. So that's Ben's great. So this was, I just wanted to show you the larger format version of the pool bag cardigan that somebody was asking about. Could we do it as a fade? And I think it would suit it very nicely. And that was Pool Bag Sport. Joy says she likes sewing in ends. Joy's special. And just as we're up this way, this was the Fela shawl in Fade Street using the 2 different colours. Very, very good for a improving beginner. So a nice way to use your gorgeous 4-ply in Fade Street that you've picked up recently. Let's see, I think, oh, and then Azuki was asking, do I believe in the sweater curse? Azuki, is the sweater that you're coming to the end of for your boyfriend? I think this is an important question. Do I believe in it? I believe that making a whole sweater for somebody that you haven't, that you're not in a legally committed relationship with is risky. It is risky. And I have not yet knit my husband a jumper. We're married 12 years this year, so it's happening. It's halfway there, but it's it's 4-ply merino wool that we bought on our honeymoon. Actually, it still hasn't happened, so I can't say for sure. But I didn't risk it before we were married. Christina, speaking of weaving and ends, are there any tips about the joins and ends for the anchor t-shirt? No, you can't do the Russian join or the split splice on that, so you definitely have to go on with your regular needles and tidying the ends in behind your work. So always leave 4 to 6 inches worth of a tail whenever you're joining a new ball of yarn in. Do not knot it. You can do a brief overhand knot to kind of keep it in place, but don't do double knots. Don't just trim it down. I've seen that happening, and it's a recipe for them coming undone, and you ending up with holes. You need that extra tail to anchor it in behind your work for that sort of 4 inches or thereabouts. Following the line of the stitches. Again, this is probably something we should do a little tutorial video. Ooh, hang on. Hold on. To the rescue in the comments. Braided join. That's Fiona, isn't it? Yeah, Fiona from the Yarn Bowl, saying braided join for cottons and linens. Now, I have not come across that. I am going to Google it madly after this and see if we can share a tutorial and have a little look. Braided join, worth a go. But otherwise, yeah, just following the line of the stitches in behind on the underside of and stuff like that, so that any bulk is on the inside. And apparently my connection was poor there. I hope you can still hear me. So there might have been a little pause there. So how are we doing? 140. Jennifer Sumi said that the boyfriend sweater curse, don't do it. So, okay. And Nicola Noller is using braided join with lino. Okay, I learn something new every day. Thank you so much. Everybody's saying it's great for slippery yarns. Happy days. Gonna look. Okay, I've switched over to 4G. There is a problem with our Wi-Fi here in the shop, so hopefully you can still see me. I think I just want to show you those new shades of Olann that have come into stock, because there are some gorgeous ones, and a big restock as well of Olann Sock Lite that we have in. It's kind of behind me between the Malabrigo Sock and that, and there was, we had a bit of a chat about jewel tones, so I think those people, you're gonna like these guys. Let's have a look. All right, yeah. So, yes, no, we were taking pictures of these for the website this morning, and I was making a lot of those noises as well. So this is Saint, which we have not had in stock before, and you can see just all of those gorgeous purples, greens, golds, little burnt rusts and everything in there. So probably right up Jacqueline Allen Street as well. Just so you can, I love that we can do this. Let's twist the skein around and see all the parts of it. When we're taking photos for the website, we do have 3 skeins beside each other, so you can see a little bit better the distribution of the colours. But it's also good to, I don't know, pretend you're here and let me toss the skeins around for you a little bit. So that is Saint, and make some room. Kind of close enough in idea, but without those brighter tones, is Moonstone. Nice and kind of moody, twilighty evening, and very nice. I do love it too. So that's absolutely beautiful. And Voyager, gorgeous. I'm less of a blues person. I know other people are, so it's not that it's not gorgeous, just that I don't tend to wear that much blue. So that is absolutely fabulous. And then this guy right here, which is Fever. Not something any of us want to have right now, but we can have it in yarn form. So that is Fever with these gorgeous reds and pinks and charcoals going on. So that is just 4 new shades. They would go amazing together in some sort of fadey project, wouldn't they? I like it. So Voyager, Moonstone, Saint, and Fever. What do we do with Fever? Anybody got any project ideas? I like that. They are really, really rich and saturated and gorgeous. And we have all sorts of other amazing bits and pieces back in total contrast here. But look, lots of the popular colours have arrived. And we might be a small bit behind on getting the colours up there, but they will be done by this afternoon. Look at these guys. Sorry, I'm just going all over purples and pinks at the moment. Anyway, so that is Mulberry and that is Damson. And I think some of our Zoetic kits might be back in stock too. And some of our Irish yarn bundle, like kind of a taster kits where we mix in some Sock Lite and Abbey Lace from Townhouse Yarns and DK Tweed from Irish Artisan Yarns. So if you're kind of looking to try out a few Irish hand dyers in one go, we've sort of made these colour plans or colour combinations that work really nicely together. Okay. Where are we? Oh, hi. All right. So, and Jackie said that she's got something relatively similar to Fever, and you plan on a simple sweater for it. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes just let the colours do the talking, and you don't need to be doing anything crazy elaborate into the mix either. So, so I think that was everything we had to cover today. Aisling, is there anything that I was supposed to else to say? No, a little bit turned around because we had all of the fun and games of the yarn tasting last week, and then it being a shorter week this week. We're trying to condense everything in, and I can't believe it's Thursday already. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. As I said, we will have announcements for you in and around or what our new opening hours are going to be when, yay, we can see you all again. Obviously with all the masks and the social distancing required, unfortunately for the moment, but we're getting there, which is great news. Lina, actually, somebody's just mentioned Lina magazine, that is out tomorrow. So anybody who had pre-ordered a copy of Lina issue 11, it is on the way to you. And I think we have a couple of copies left still, if anybody's looking to pick up a few of that. And oh yes, Click and Collect is not going to be available next week, and that's mostly due to all of the work that's going on here in the centre, because the doors have to be closed and there's building works, and also we just can't facilitate, unfortunately, Click and Collect for that 1 week in between when we can reopen again. They have to deep clean this whole centre. It's very dusty, and when that is done, we will be back in action with the times and dates all to be announced. So stick with us. Thank you again for joining us for another TIK live, and we will see you very soon. Aisling, anything, if you liked anything that's we showed you today and you're interested in learning more, then it is going to be linked through the link in our bio. So if you just click on Instagram Live, once you go through to there, all of the products that we've talked about today will show up on a nice quick link for you. And I think that is it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks everybody. Bye bye.